Welcome back. Time to practice some more. So we're going to practice something we haven't touched on yet, and that is called mechanical drawing, a type of mechanical drawing. And like mechanics that work on cars use tools, mechanical drawing is just drawing where you can use tools. Now, our tool for today is a straight edge. Now, this particular straight edge is also some people call it a ruler, but it doesn't have to be a ruler. Here's a paint stick. I could use the paint stick. I could probably even use the edge of my folder. Anything with a straight edge. Okay, so we're going to do this worksheet. If you don't have the packet, you can very easily make a similar worksheet by just making a square and putting marks every half inch or every inch or so. So what we're going to do, and there are instructions included on the back or another page of instructions, we're going to go from point A to all of these, we're going to call these hash marks. All these little marks, we're going to draw a line from point A to all of those, all the way around here. And then we're going to go from point B to all of the marks on the opposite side of the square from point B. So, but when we get done, all of the marks will have at least one line going from them to point A or B. So, what's that going to look like? And then we're going to color it in. So what's that going to look like? This is one example of what it can look like. And there's a lot of different ways we can color this in, but the basic design is going to be this design. Another example of what a design like that could look like. This is the same sort of thing, only it's a bigger page with slightly more lines. I believe it's every 1.25 inches on this one, or possibly every inch. So we're going to show you how to do that. First of all, how do we use our straight edge? Now, you can use a pencil on this. When we use pencils on a mechanical drawing, guess what kind of pencil is probably the best to use? On mechanical drawing. That's right, a mechanical pencil or a clicky pencil, because they do a nice, thin, clean line. So if we're going to let you use a straight edge, then we expect you're going to be very neat. So a couple of pointers about using a straight edge. Now I'm going to use an ink pen because I'm practiced at this, and practice makes better. So, you know, it may take you a couple of tries at this. That's okay. We're going to try not to let the straight edge slip. One way that we can do that is to stand and push down. Stand above our drawing and push down. Another tip is when you put your pen or pencil against your straight edge, don't hold it at an angle like this. Hold it straight up and down like this. That way it's not pushing against the straight edge so much. So I'm going to line up point A. I'm going to use the smaller straight edge just so you can see. So I'm going to line up point A with this point over here. And then I'm going to make my line. Okay, maybe my straight edge has a couple little bumps in it. And I'm going to go ahead and line it up. Now take your time lining up each of these lines. There's no rush here. You can go over the line if you want. You go over each end. And I'm going to keep doing that for all of point A. And then I'm going to come back to point B. I'll do the first line for point B. And line up both of those. Make a line. And then I'm going to do all of these back to point B. Now, I've got a page done already, so that we don't have to sit around and wait for me to do all of those. So when you get done, it will look something like this. Now that's kind of like a weird checkerboard. Now the second part of this assignment is to color in the pattern. So I don't want you, no, I don't want you to just take and color the whole thing in like that, okay? I did that lightly on purpose. I don't like that. I want you to do some sort of checkerboard. So you might take a permanent marker. Can you use markers? Yes. Can you use colored pencils? Yes. Now, you have to be careful. This is why we practice coloring in with markers. This is why we practice coloring in with colored pencils. Remember, markers tend to bleed a little bit, which means they kind of, once you put the line down, they kind of get a little bit thicker than what you put down. This is a Sharpie. Okay, so there's one square. And then instead of doing the squares right next to it the same color, that wouldn't show the pattern. So I will do like a checkerboard type pattern. And I like to just kind of get the outside of the squares colored in first. And then it kind of takes the stress off. Yeah, I know there's a little bit on the edge there. I'll get that. Color that in and go back along that edge, close that up. Okay, and so I would do a whole, like every other one. Now you can leave it red and white, or if you want a true checkerboard, traditionally checkerboards are black and red, so I could go in and really make it actually look like it's a checkerboard. Now, these are the easiest ones to color in, these ones that are almost a perfect square. When you get up close to the center, they get kind of skinny and long and skinny and really pointy. Close that up. Okay. You can use ballpoint pens to do this. Now, if I were coloring in one of these, take a look here. So I'm just really carefully, I work back to that corner. And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake, but you know, really try to do your best. Boy, that gets really small down there. My marker tip's not quite skinny enough for that, but did pretty good. So it's going to take a while to color in, but as you can see, it comes out pretty cool design. It can really be a neat design. And you can color that in any way you want, but color each square a different color, so you can see the pattern. Because if I colored this whole thing black, I'd just have a big black square. Okay, so that's mechanical drawing. And since we're using tools, we expect that to be super, super neat, super, super clean, without hardly any mistakes, okay? And the instructions should be on the packet with you too. If you didn't get a packet, you know, you can end up with something like this. You just do the same thing, but you just make the square on a blank sheet of paper, do the lines really carefully, color it in really carefully, okay? So that's mechanical drawing. That's using a straight edge. Remember, practice makes us better. Have fun with your art.